Hi, I'm Gwendolyn Sturk of Sturk Family Law, and I have the privilege to be here today with Dr. Kevin Dobrinsky at the Amen Clinics here in the Chicago area. Specifically, we're going to address unique mental health services for children today, and I'm very excited to talk about this topic because a lot of you out there are troubled about what to do. You might have a child that has been diagnosed, or still you're in early intervention and the autistic spectrum is being raised. You don't know how to accept it. You don't know what to do, or ADHD, ADD issues. Where do you start and what do you do as a parent? So thank you so much for being with us today.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about how to address. What do you say to that parent out there who, boy, they're struggling?
Yeah. Well, it's first of all, I'm very empathetic because I'm a parent as well, and my daughter actually has some attention issues. And so, it's difficult, especially when you're going to care providers that are evaluating individuals by asking questions. First of all, it's hard for kids to communicate. It's really, really difficult for that. And so, for us, the beauty of doing what we do, which is incorporating not only assessments and interviews, a neuropsych exam, but also looking at the person's biology. So we could actually look at a child's brain and determine, let's say for instance, if they have attention issues. And the one thing I will tell you that I've learned over the last couple of years is it's never one thing. So if someone has attention issues, there's something else going on.
Interesting, yeah.
Yes, there's comorbidities. So they can have attention issues, but they can also have something like anxiety. Now, if you go to the general practitioner, or let's say a psychiatrist that's not looking at the brain and they know they have attention issues and they put them on a stimulant, that individual with anxiety is going to get worse.
Right.
But they don't know that unless they would have that data or able to look at the biology of the brain and determine that they actually have true anxiety. And so that's where something like what we do just helps us so much improve the quality of the life.
Right, because if you're using a subjective rather than an objective standard, you might make an educated guess, but if you don't know what else is going on, it makes the condition worse. And so I think a lot of parents experience that, and I think they're fearful. So can you explain what your clinic will do to address a parent's concerns?
Sure. So first of all, again, looking at objective data, and we bring families in, and so going through the assessment, we not only just look at this biology, looking at the brain or neuropsych exam, we look at the family, the surrounding, educational, their support, and then after we evaluate someone, let's just take the example we talked about, which is maybe a child has attention issues and maybe some anxiety, versus us just putting them on a stimulant. We have multiple options, right? And so one of our philosophies is the most effective, least toxic treatment. And so we will focus on using things like exercise, nutrition, and supplementation first, prior to maybe using a stimulant. Or maybe there's a combination of that.
Sure, the two things together. And then you're identifying and treating both conditions because you have a holistic approach.
Right,
almost.
Exactly.
And then there also could be a medical function connected with that child. So you would also do blood tests or make sure that the blood work is done and you're reviewing that as well, correct?
Yeah, if the family has recent exams, some blood work, we will look at that. But if it's something that's been dated or maybe they don't have that, we'll suggest, if we think it's necessary, to go out and bring that additional piece in.
Right, because it's all those components working together that might be causing the issues. So tell us a little bit about specifically what you would do for someone who is in early intervention, they're fearful that their child's going to be diagnosed with autism, or they already have a diagnosis. How do you treat that, and what can you provide for specialized services?
Yeah. So for us, the beauty of what we do is being a diagnostic model. We just partner with so many other providers in the communities around our clinic and around the Midwest. And so this could be the school system, this could be counselors, it can be therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, et cetera, et cetera. For us, those back-end services are really, really important after we really understand what's going on with the patient and with the family, right? And so that service, or let's say the treatment, the care, could be something that we provide here, maybe like hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which we can get into later. But if we don't have the services, we then go out into the community and we partner with others.
Got it. And how do you do the diagnosis? So somebody's just listening, they haven't listened to our other podcast on the topic. how do you exactly do the objective? Do you do that through a scan? Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so for us, the history is huge, right? It's really, really important. In fact, we have what we call a patient outcome manager on staff, and their sole job is to interview patients in the family.
Okay.
After they already filled out assessment forms. So we ask them, again, a lot of the same questions to make sure we really understand that person. So that's first and foremost. We'll actually, after that, do a neuropsychological exam done behind the computer where we look at mood, impulse, memory, response time, etc. So that's more information.
Sure.
And then ideally, we would love to do 2 images of the brain. One at rest, okay, and then one where we can see activity. So it's called a concentration image. Okay, and so we take all that information. It's then given to one of our physicians. He sits down with the family and basically goes through and explains to them what they see, evaluate, diagnose, and then talk about next steps.
Now, does a parent have to have a referral from a treater, provider in order to come here, or could they simply pick up the phone, read it, or go to the web, read about your program, and make that first call?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of what we do is that both situations do apply. So we have a lot of people just reaching out, asking questions. So we go directly to the consumer or the patient, and they can come here. And then we work with a lot of providers in the community.
So it could be either way.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're out there today and you're struggling with these issues with your kids, you can just simply make that call. Can you give them the phone number as well as the website address that they would go to?
Sure, you can just go to amenclinics.com and you can do a lot of just different research on your own if you'd like. We do have a care center in California, and they take all our calls for all the different clinics. We have a number of clinics around the country. That number is 1-888-288-9834. And so that is, again, our care center in in California. However, if they want to directly call our clinic in Chicago, that number is 224-804-9220.
I just want to follow up one last area is, the attention area. You hear about multiple, my child has ADHD, ADD, maybe they do, maybe they don't, that struggle. What can you say to that parent who's out there and hearing all these words, not even know where to start?
Yeah, well, I think you really have to try to find some objective data, right? I mean, at some point, if you're not satisfied with the care or where your child is, at that point, maybe you need another opinion. And for us, again, I love our work because we can objectively tell if someone does have attention by some of these images that we do. We can actually see when someone's trying to concentrate in this area of the brain in which a lot of people refer to that have attention issues is called the prefrontal cortex, right? It's our executive center of the brain. And we can actually see activity drop off when someone's trying to focus. And so then we know it's a biological issue. We can see that happening. And then once we know that, again, now we have all these different tools that we can use to help support that patient and that family member.
Right, you're really seeing it. So it's an objective, it's science. It's rather than this guess. Is my child just struggling because they're not hearing from the teacher, or that's not their learning style, or is there really something going on? It's the biology behind it, correct?
And so the beauty of it too is that maybe we don't see that. Maybe they were labeled with attention issues and we're like, well, we don't see it.
Right.
However, the nice thing about us partnering is we have other individuals in the field that may evaluate the eyes, okay? And so this is not only a regular optometrist, but a neuro-optometrist in which they actually look at the brain and the eyes and the person as a whole. So we have lots of different resources for families. If
Very interesting. Well, this is limited to the issues for children. We're going to do some other podcasts here where we're going to get into issues such as, memory issues, prognosis relating to dementia, and other services. But it's a great opportunity for all of you listening, because I know as a family law practitioner that this is a great cause for marital conflict. And you don't know what to do, you're devastated. So here's an alternative. These are the resources we try to provide. So thank you so much, Kevin. It's been such a wonderful opportunity. And we hope that you get the help for the children. Thanks.